It's so amazing to have Chris here tonight and talk about the victory of the Amazon workers, because that's a reminder that we can organize and we can win against these billionaires, against those who oppress us, those who wage war and genocide across the globe. And his story also tells us that it takes courage. It takes courage to stand up and fight back. And that's courage that every single one of us in this room has and has to use. And lastly, he teaches us that internationalism is a core part of our job as unionists. That an injury to one is an injury to all. And these capitalists, these Jeff Bezoses, these corporations are global, and so do we. Our fight back has to be global, and we have to continue internationalism in our unions every single day and remind our fellow workers that oppression is everywhere and we fight everywhere. And that's what Labor for Palestine is about. So we urge you all to get involved. As Regine said, you can sign up at the table in the back. We hope that you'll come out to a meeting and support Labor for Palestine and internationalism in your workplace.
Yeah, well, big round of applause to Kayla. But yeah, we have a world to win. The first step is a free Palestine. So now we are so happy to have Chris Smalls with us here today, coming all the way from the States. And he's been traveling internationally, convincing those of us to organize from every corner of the world. Chris Smalls is an American labor organizer known for his role in leading the struggle to unionize Amazon. He is the founder and former president of the Amazon Labor Union. Due to this incredible and inspiring work, Chris was also on Times' 100 most influential people in the world. Chris has also done a lot of work around international solidarity. Like I said, he visited various places around the world to build connections between unions and workers worldwide. Chris understands the value of internationalism within the labor movement, and therefore he has taken strong stances against imperialism, whether this be against the criminal U.S. blockade of Cuba or showing his solidarity to Palestine. In fact, he visited and stood by UBC students who created the encampments last year, and that's how we got in touch with him. And we're so happy to have him here with us today. And he also, shout out to Chris for coming to my class. The students loved him. He was so inspiring, and I'm sure he'll inspire us today as well. So please give it up for Chris.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Really, Vancouver has been an amazing trip so far, so I really appreciate this opportunity to even speak on Palestine and be invited as a keynote here tonight. Let's get right to it, 77 years, Nakba is supposed to be a day of remembrance, right? It's not a holiday. And they want us to have these moments and moments of silence. But I want to do the complete opposite, because silence is complicity, right? And that's what they want us to do. They want us to stop talking about these issues. So we're not going to give them what they want. We're going to have to do what we need to do, and that's organize, because there ain't no cavalry coming for it. So yeah, for those who don't know, my name is Chris Smalls. I'm the founder of the Amazon Labor Union, the first union in American history for Amazon workers. And I got a lot to talk about when it comes to Amazon, because it ties into the Palestinian struggle as well. 5 years ago, I was fired during the pandemic for leading a walkout. The richest man in the world, Jeff Bezos, who was making $13 billion a day, $9 million an hour, $5,000 a second, signed off on a smear campaign about little old me, calling me not smart or articulate. Ironically, he did say to make me the face of the whole unionizing efforts against Amazon. That was a good idea. Then I started my nonprofit organization, the Congress of Essential Workers. I traveled the country from the East Coast to the West Coast, protesting in front of Jeff Bezos' mansions. And while that was taking place, There was a campaign going on in Bessemer. We paid attention to it. And when we got back a year later, we decided to form the Amazon Labor Union. We campaigned for over 300 days, 11 months, outside of the same warehouse that fired me 5 years ago. And then April 1st, not April Fool's Day, 2022, once again, we voted in to become this first union, first worker-led union in American history. And I say worker-led because everybody who organized the Amazon Labor Union was an Amazon worker. And people want to know, why the hell did you not sign on with a bigger union or a larger union? Well, a lot of the speakers here tonight touched on that, and I'm going to give you a little bit more insight. For the last decade, American labor unions, international unions, have tried and failed to organize Amazon, spending over 10, 20, 30, 40, $50 million. And you probably never even heard of some of the campaigns because they never got off the ground. For good reason. Amazon does play its part, trust me. But when it comes to organizing, you can't just pour money into it. You have to sacrifice something. Everybody here tonight, you sacrifice something, especially if you're talking about Palestine. Everybody in here lost something. I could tell you I have. The moment I tweeted about Palestine, I lost 10,000 followers instantly. And you know what I had to say about that? Fuck you. So getting back to how the hell did we beat this $2.2 trillion company, Amazon? Just grassroots organizers. We did it with a shoestring budget. We had a GoFundMe. No major union was endorsing us. No labor experts wrote us off. How the hell did we beat Amazon, a $2.2 trillion company with just the people in the community? The day we won, we had $2.50 in our account. Then the next day, we had about 500,000. But the answer to the question is, how do we win? No amount of money in the world can amount to the power of people when we come together. I'm going to say that again. No amount of money in the world can amount to the power of people when we come together. So we can take on the richest man in the world who spent $9 million talking about Chris Smalls. The day they fired me, I cost Amazon $4 billion. Anybody could be a whistleblower. When you're speaking truth to power, that's free. It's about using your voice and what you're willing to sacrifice. Are you willing to put your job on the line for this movement? Yeah. I know I did. Cost me my job. But guess what? That doesn't stop you from doing the work. Because a lot of people, they get complicit, and they tell you, if you don't like your job, just quit, right? Jump from one fire into the next one. It's not going to solve anything. That's how we got here. That's actually the definition of insanity. To continuously do the same thing over and expect different results. So, this moment that we're in right now, it's good to be labor for Palestine. Well, are we going to be labor with Palestine? How far are we willing to go, labor? Because I can tell you now, we can pass as many resolutions as you want. That don't mean shit. You can have as many rallies as you want. That ain't going to do shit. You can call as many protests as you want. It's not going to do anything unless we shut down the means of production. The ultimate power that we have is our labor. It doesn't matter what movements you're a part of. Civil rights, climate, social injustice, Palestine. At the end of the day, we're all workers. And there's more of us than it is of them. How many billionaires is in the world? Yeah, they shouldn't exist. But unfortunately, we only got about roughly 2,000. That's it. 0.1%, right? Versus 99% of us. But here we are, still fighting amongst each other. They know how to organize. They use the propaganda very well. A lot of sheep mentality out here. People out here blind as hell. Right in your own communities. But we in the labor movement want to say this is a revolution. Yeah, it is a revolution, but it's a very fucking slow one. But the revolution starts with ourselves. When you leave here today, what else are you going to do? You got to have a conversation with yourself. Because this is a lifetime fight. It's not a marathon. I mean, actually, it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not a sprint. You signed up for a lifetime fight when you talk about Palestine. You probably got canceled and everything, in spaces and all types of stuff. Lost money, lost job opportunities. I've been there. I'm on the same BDS list with the students that are being deported. I wear that with a badge of honor, though. Yeah, clap now, because if they detain me at the border, I might be here permanently. I don't mind it. It's good weed here, I'll tell you that. But the power of community is real, y'all. And how far are we willing to go for Palestinians is the real question. Actually, before October 7th, you guys brought me up here to Montreal. I was at Concordia University with Dr. Mustafa Bourgadi. And I encourage y'all to look at that panel. It was a 75-minute discussion about the history of Palestine. He's the former MP of Palestine, actually. That was before October 7th, before I even really got involved in it. During October 7th, I was in Berlin, Germany, one of the largest Palestinian communities outside of Palestine. 30 to 40,000 of them live in that community over there. And I was there as an American. And I witnessed the same thing we saw in the Holocaust. The Nazi police kettled in the entire Palestinian community, dragged women away from their children, set up tables, just like the concentration camps, threw Palestinians into paddy wagons right in front of me. The sirens were so loud. Well, that don't mean nothing. The sirens were so loud that I couldn't even hear my comrade talk to me. And I watched kids be dragged away. Children be dragged away. And we couldn't even say free Palestine. Suppression of freedom of speech. Couldn't even wave a Palestinian flag. I went to a protest just randomly walking down the street and watched how these police pounced on all the organizers and protesters here. Ironically, years later, I just ended up on a panel with one of those protesters. They're still fighting, and they're still going through that. Actually, a video just came out this morning of how the police just beat up the protesters over Nakba. So it's still happening. So yeah, Germany, of all places, they got the audacity. So for me, to go back to America and share that experience, and once again lose thousands of followers saying, hey, I supported you during the Amazon struggle, but this I can't stand with. I said, you didn't support me doing shit. Because if you weren't in the trenches with me, I don't know you. Because when it comes down to your struggle, the people to the left and the people to the right of you are all you're going to have. Those that are going to be in the trenches with you. And yes, we need international solidarity. We need it. This is why I'm doing the work that I do. In my short amount of time, I've been able to visit some of the most socialist, communist, Marxist unions in the world. As an American. Right. Clap up for that. And the one question I really have, it's like, I'm 36, not that old, not that young. But why the hell hasn't this been done before? Right? You know, Amazon's been unionized for over a decade, right here in Italy and France. But because it's a communist union, ooh. And that's not international solidarity, not at all. We have to connect the dots, we have to connect the struggles, and we have to hold people accountable. And we already mentioned it tonight. There's nothing wrong with holding your union accountable. Nothing at all. Because the labor movement is in trouble right now. Union density is still on a decline. And the private sector in America is less than 6%. Public sector, less than 10%. And we're not even talking about the threat of artificial intelligence that's coming for all of us. So, the sense of urgency is when? How much more are we going to accept? We know who our enemies are. We know what they plan on doing. They want to erase Gaza. Are we going to allow it? No. So we at a point of no return, y'all. We passed resolutions. It's time to put our bodies on the line. Because I know I don't want my children growing up in a society where they got to fight as hard as we're doing now. And if we don't fight right now, we may not have a planet to fight for. Getting back into Amazon, they invested $7.2 billion into the military-industrial complex. Yay! Israel's Iron Dome, right? Who you think is running that? The tech bros, the Elon Musk, the billionaires, the Starlinks, the Nemesis project. All of the tech companies invested into that to surveil and help aid the military of the IDF. Amazon is actually funding and operating the genocide. And it's not the only corporation. There's plenty of others. And as workers of the working class, it's time for us to withhold our labor from these corporations. I can talk on and on about all the issues all night. But we got to decide what action we're going to take here. Because there's leaders and there's activists. You could be both. But a leader's job is to lead by example. And the activist's job is to get active. So if you're an activist, it's that time, get active. And if you're a leader, it's that time to lead. Because there is no cavalry coming for us. These elected officials, I saw what happened with the NDP. I saw what happened with the party. Y'all saw me in I think I was in Alberta, Edmonton? Am I saying that right? Yeah. It's a hard place to remember, I mean. In my former life, I was a comedian. In this life, I was a rapper. But in the future, I want to be remembered as an organizer and as a worker and as a fighter for the working class, because we all have to fight right now. and remind those at the top who really got the power. I'm going to end it off with this. Repeat after me. In our thousands, in our millions, we are all Palestinians. When you leave here tonight, have these conversations with your loved ones, your neighbors, the people to the left and right of you. Because, once again, if we don't fight back, nobody's coming to save us. The Palestinian community needs us right now. In a few months, I'm taking the labor delegation to Jerusalem to do some humanitarian work. Yeah. I'm going to do it. I know people are like, oh, it's dangerous. I've been in some dangerous hoods in my time. Wasn't my first rodeo with the police. As a black man in America, it's always dangerous. So, yeah, leaders lead. And if me going to Jerusalem is going to help push other labor leaders in America, then so fucking well. Let's do it. Because that's what we need to do. We need to hold our unions accountable, get rid of some of these fucking gatekeepers, and get rid of some of these fucking elected officials who are dinosaurs. And if we don't get it, 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 if we don't get it, one more time, we don't get it. Every damn time. Power to the people, y'all. Thank you.